Welcome to another meeting of TV Holics Anonymous. Welcome to another meeting of TV Holics Anonymous. My name is Ruru, and I am a TV Holic. So today, I just wanted to do like a quick kind of chat about this season 4, I believe, of The Lincoln Lawyer. And I just want to talk about like my thoughts on the season. So I kind of like binged watched the entire season this weekend, and I have like quite a few thoughts about it. The thing that I just want to talk about first is that I did like watch this like every year that the seasons come out. So it's not like I binged watched all the seasons together. And I've been like eagerly anticipating season 4. I'm just gonna double check that actually it is season 4, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that it was season 4. But again, let me just double check that for you guys because I'm not 100 on that. Yeah, it was season 4. So yeah, like I was saying, I was really eagerly anticipating this season, and I'm happy that I got to see it like in a whole, binge session, because you kind of like really want to know what happens next each time. So yeah, so basically last season was like a continuation. I love how they do that. It's not just like in this show, it's not just like a random situation of it's gonna be something totally different like 5 years later or like 1 year later or something like that, which they do in a lot of shows. I like how they just like continue on from like the second that you left, basically, or like a little while. Well, it kind of was not a full continuation of that. It was like a few weeks later, because we find that he is actually, after he was stopped at the traffic stop and they found like the dead body of that guy, that he was the guy with like a lot of different aliases, that he was like the lawyer off. They found him in his trunk. He was then taken to prison and processed, and he was in county prison in LA. So he was there for like about 6 weeks or something like that, they said. Or yeah, 3 or 6 weeks or something like that. And he was obviously like wrongfully accused. And I think that it was like really interesting that they showed like it showed they built up the tension. Like you felt like he could be hurt by the inmates. You don't know who actually put him in there, why they wanted him like to be imprisoned, why they set him up in this situation. And he's trying to like fight for his life to get out of there. So you see how like corrupt the system is, and the system is designed to oppress people, the justice system in the US. I think it's like a great insight into how like basically criminals or people who are the accused are treated like crap and treated like criminals even before like the facts are really presented. So you see that in the courtroom with Dana, who is the prosecution, and she is trying to like do everything in her power. She has a chip on her shoulder against both Mickey and his ex-wife and Maggie. So basically she wants him put away, even though she knows that he's probably, I think in the back of her mind, she knows that he's probably not done this crime, because like how stupid could you be? Like he's a lawyer, he'd know not to do something like this. He knows the law. Like it's just stupid, and they're trying to say that it was a crime of like not passion, but like he calculated it and he wanted the money back from this guy, and it's just like it's just not. I didn't find the plot line that intriguing, like as in not intriguing, but I just found that I just thought they could have done a better job of this season if they were going to put him behind bars. I know the stakes were pretty high, like he was facing life imprisonment, but also I didn't like the ending, the way that they just kind of like wrapped it all up in like the last episode, and they just like went to the judges' chambers. And I know like this whole like podcast episode is going to be like I'm going to be jumping from like stage to stage, so like I might jump to the end and then jump back to the beginning and then jump back to the middle, and like it's going to be all like all over the place, so please bear with me. So anyway, like I was saying, they kind of like he made a deal with the FBI, and the FBI knew he was innocent, so they kind of wanted the witness. They wanted the Armenian gangster, but he obviously got killed because he like got thrown out the building by his family's like goons, because they didn't like that he got that other guy involved in the business, and he, you know, that guy skimmed a bit off the top, and then, you know, they just got pissed at him for that. Which all none of it was really connecting for me, because like the gangsters, the Armenian mob wouldn't just like kill off their, you know, their relative for that, unless he wasn't like he was holding the money himself. Like it's not really connecting for me. I don't know if it was really connecting for anyone else, but it doesn't make sense. Also, like the girlfriend that Cisco went off with, that wasn't making much sense either. Why didn't they come after her? Or like it's not like, what happened to the other two mob guys? Like I thought they were like a danger to Cisco and her, and like no one was really coming after her. And then like the FBI was complicit in like trying to put Mickey in prison because they wanted to just like win their case. And then the other guy, which I thought who was going to be involved, Vasquez, I believe his name was. He was with with Federal Agent Ruth, and then they didn't show him again, like towards the end or anything. Like it was just like all a mess. Like it wasn't making sense. And then they had that other random head of FBI or whatever lawyer that was negotiating the deal in the judge's chambers. Like a lot of things weren't adding up. And then they just had, I didn't like how they basically had legal. They just killed him off on the bus. It didn't make any sense. He was randomly on the bus and on the phone to Lorna, and then he just died. And then Lorna, why would Lorna come in the middle of his trial, Mickey's trial, just come and tell Mickey that Legal died? And then Mickey's decisions, like he could have had the case like thrown out in the beginning on a technicality, which he didn't do because he saw his kid there and he wanted to clear his name. Fair enough, he wanted to clear his name, but would you really, in that position, if you were in that position, risk life imprisonment just to have your name cleared? I know it's his profession and he's a lawyer and everything, but I wouldn't risk life imprisonment, especially if I just, like, if I was in prison, like, and not being bailed out yet. Like, it's just, it's like mind-boggling to me. And then like some of the other stuff, he paid for protection from that guy in prison. I forgot his name. Bomba, yeah. And he didn't even seem like very scary or like a career criminal or anything like that. And they didn't show how they made that connection, and he decided to pay him and stuff like that. They didn't show anything like that, and like his motive to like seek out help from that guy in particular. Nothing was making sense. Like some of the bits weren't connecting, and I hated the fact that at the end they kind of got the FBI was just kind of, the FBI didn't care about Mickey in the first place, and then they just showed care for Mickey by chasing after the Armenian gangsters and protecting Mickey. I know it's because they were just there like doing their job, like finding the Armenian gangsters, mob people, and the mob people shot at Mickey to tie up their loose ends or whatever. But they didn't really have that much beef. Oh yeah, they did from previous seasons with Mickey. But I just feel like it was just so like disjointed. And then they had Robin from How I Met Your Mother. I believe that's her. I haven't seen her in a while, so I feel like I've got like face amnesia or something like that. And they had her, and she was basically she at the end of the episode, she basically said, "I'm your sister," to Mickey, and Mickey was like all like shocked. This is all very weird. I don't know what to think of it. Like, the ending was not what I expected at all. It does make me slightly intrigued. Sorry, I've got a cold and my nose is really blocked, so that's why I sound really nasal. Yeah, the ending was very like blah. But it did make me intrigued, like I said, to find out what happens in the next season. But like I said, there's just so many bits that weren't tied up. I know that they were going to get that corrupt cop investigated because that's what he requested in the judge's chambers, and he didn't. If I spent all that time in prison, I would want to be compensated for that, like financially or in some other way. I know he did in all these other ways that he requested, but what about the financial compensation? He wasn't able to work all that time, and like the trauma that he went through for no reason. Shouldn't he be paid by like the state or something, like the government or the FBI or someone, like for all that time that he spent in prison, like for emotional damages or anything like that? He didn't even ask for that. Maybe he didn't ask for it because he didn't think he'd get it, but they didn't even like verbalize that on the episode. Like they didn't even like talk about that. They just like accepted it. And then Maggie just went off to go live back in San Diego, which was weird as well, because like she acknowledged in the car, and you could see that there was chemistry between her and Mickey, which there is every season, but they never like stay together. That's like really annoying. Yeah, so that's what I thought about this whole episode. I'm sure there's other bits as well. I thought there was going to be something weird and like nefarious and like sinister about the girl that I forgot her name. The manager, the legal the firm's manager. Remember his former driver, that girl? The new girl that she's dating that she met in class. I thought there was going to be something like weird about her. She was going to be like using information about Mickey and like taking it to the prosecutor, but they didn't do that with her. They just made her like out to be like a nice girl who's helping out the office manager, and she was just like a good person at the end of the day. And I was waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it never did. So that was strange. And everyone just got along and was happy families. And then the weird tension between Lorna and her husband, because he was going out off doing his job. When he's been attacked and stuff before, and like he's had his life threatened and stuff before, and she knew that, and she married an ex biker gang member, and she knew all this before, so it was weird that the way that they like kind of like put that into the story, and she wasn't talking to him and stuff. And I also like the way that I hate the stupid billboards that they made for her and made her like be like doing that photo shoot and stuff. I thought it was just like pointless. And then I didn't also like the way that they kind of like tied up the story, like I said, with that woman, the girlfriend of the Armenian gangster. Like they didn't show what happened to her. Was she like in witness protection? What happened? Tie that story up. They didn't tie that up. They also there were I know I've been complaining this whole podcast episode, but there were good parts. I like the way they filmed. I love the cinematography. I love the way like you felt a lot of stress and tension the entire time, because you didn't know whether he was going to get life imprisonment or not. And they also kept saying that he could get the death penalty and all that as well. So that was stressful and like kept you in suspense, and you really felt his pain. You felt like helpless and vulnerable for him, like when he was stuck in the solitary confinement. situation. I thought he was going to get stabbed. I also thought that Bomba, he was going to get stabbed as well. I thought one of them might end up in hospital or die potentially. I also thought there was a possibility that that Cisco might have died in that attack by the Armenian mob as well. It was just all a bit weird, and I feel like they could have done a better job of putting it together. But like I said, there was bits that I liked. I didn't like the fact that, oh yes, this is what I forgot about. I didn't like the fact that they put freaking Kyle Richards in this show. And she was such a bad actress. She was trying so hard, and it was like so like, I feel like pathetic and like drawn out, and like it was just Kyle being like a show off and like really Kylie. Like, she's not a good actress. She should not be on TV, and she should not be in movies. Yes, she acted as a kid on Little House on the Prairie, but I don't think she's done anything since then, apart from she was in one of the not Scream movies, the Freddy versus Jason or Jason movies or whatever. But she's a crap actress. She's not good. She's like terrible, and she only can play roles when she plays basically herself. You know, crazy, neurotic, and rich, and super bitchy and super, up herself. But I love the fact that they it was like art imitating life. So basically she was going through a divorce with her rich husband, and he was playing around with like younger girls and cheating on her, and that is basically what Mauricio did to her. So it's a bit of like art imitating life. And she got herpes, so that was interesting. And he had herpes and he gave it to her basically. So yeah, that was probably what happened in their relationship as well, Mauricio and Kyle. She probably got herpes from Mauricio and then decided that she can't take it anymore, she can't take the cheating anymore, and that's why they probably broke up. Or Mauricio was like, yeah, I gave you herpes, now let's just separate because I just fully want to move on with my life and I don't care about you anymore, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I don't know how I got into Beverly Hills from that. Sorry, I digressed. But yeah, I found it interesting. I also like the fact that they like tied in a lot of people from previous seasons. So they had that murderous woman chef that he went out with, that he was dating, and she was like super jealous and super upset that he like had her imprisoned in the end. So she came back for revenge, and then like they kind of like squashed her not opinion, they kind of like squashed her case by like cross-examining her. Maggie cross-examined her and like showed that she was just a jealous ex. And also I didn't like the fact that a lot of like, I know this is how Mickey operates, but he was just gambling with his life so much in the courtroom. Like he was basically he bluffed so much to the prosecution, he bluffed to the judge, he bluffed to the FBI right at the end as well, and before that, when they just got the office manager's girlfriend to dress up as the the Armenian gangster's girlfriend and like portray her like as like they were gonna take her to the courthouse and have her testify, and they were gonna call her up as a witness basically. So that's what triggered the FBI to give him that deal and save him from being imprisoned. So yeah, there's too much bluffing. Like if I would not want to bluff if my life was at stake like that. If my literal life was at stake and I was going to be like imprisoned for murder for like life, or potentially, although they said it's like very highly unlikely to be given the death penalty, but that's crazy. It's very, very crazy. Like, you wouldn't gamble with your life that much. And he gambled with his life so many times during this trial, which was very unrealistic. No one would do that. unless you got like basically a death wish. It's crazy, especially if you know the law, you know the facts of the law, you know everything about law. You're a lawyer. You would never do that. And also your co-counsel, Maggie, who is your ex-wife, would not, be on board with that either, which is crazy. So yeah, I feel like a lot of the things were like a bit over the top and crazy, and the math wasn't mathing, but I also enjoyed it as well. I really want to hear everyone else's thoughts. Also, give us 5 stars because we need the like reviews, because it just helps us like gauge if you guys like this content or not. If you want more Netflix content, I have some more shows that I will be reviewing by myself. Like I said, we're trying to work on the technical stuff for Mimi because she is not very technically inclined, but we really need 5-star reviews. Please share the podcast with everyone and everywhere on socials. Also, we're putting short clips of the podcast episodes on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. So subscribe and listen to the podcast. You can also listen to the podcast on YouTube and clips and stuff, and we'll be doing a whole lot more to interact with you guys. So I know that we are like slowly dripping out episodes of Singles of Dino, and I know that's the thing that everyone wants to listen to. So please bear with us on that because we're very, very busy right now and we're trying to get as much done as possible. And both of us are like sick at the same time as well. So it's kind of like impossible to get things done, but we're still trying to like plow through this and get it done and get this content out for you guys. So please, if you could give us 5 stars, that would mean so much to us. And it would help us, be more I can't even get my words out because like I'm all bunged up. It will help us be more motivated to get things done for you guys and get more content out there for you guys. So please, 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 5 stars. It doesn't take much for you to just like give us 5 stars on Spotify, and it would mean the world to us. So thank you, and let's subscribe to everything like that I mentioned. And if you have any requests, please request what shows you want us to review as well. We'll be doing a lot more like Japanese reality TV and Chinese shows and reality TV are coming up soon, and also, as always, Korean stuff as well. So I'll be finishing off the Chu Sung-hoon show Try Chure or Do or Die season 2. I'm starting, so that will be slowly dripped out to you guys as well. I've done 1 episode so far, which I'm currently editing, so I'll get that out to you as quickly as possible. We also have a review of True Beauty, the Korean webtoon that was turned into a drama, which is one of our favorites. So listen to that as well. That'll be coming out soon. So we've got a lot of content that is coming out soon. I've just got editing to do and I've got other bits and pieces. So yeah, listen to all that stuff. We've got the Valley Persian style also coming up. We're going to be recording that tomorrow and getting that out to you as soon as possible. So there's a lot of content that we are going to be pushing out to you guys, and just tell us what you want really so that we can focus on things that you guys like. Bye.